Y'all look nice. Thanks for coming. How do we forgive our fathers? Maybe in a dream. That's the opening line from a poem by Dick Laurie. The poet goes on to wonder if we forgive our fathers, what is left? When I first heard that poem, I connected with it as a son trying to understand his father, a Vietnam era veteran and a complicated man. Today, I relate to it as a father who lost a son. And how can one forgive themselves for failing to protect their child? It's a question I've had to wonder far too often. So I'm here to speak to you as a father who lost a son. I'm here to speak to you as a police sergeant who lost friends, mentors, and coworkers to the deadliest threat that law enforcement faces in America, suicide, and I do mean that literally. I'm here to speak for my beautiful boy Tyler, for Joe's son Gary, and for the men and women who served as first responders in the United States military and put a uniform on each day until their last day when they took their own lives, believing they could serve no more. I'm here as a speaker for the dead, who can speak no more. I feel that I can and must speak for them as I was moments away from becoming one of them myself. For me, it was not a weakness or cowardice or a lack of will to do what I must, but a concrete and certain belief that taking my own life was the best course of action for my family, for all the people I loved, and yeah, for myself too. Now, I know how to fight. I know how to endure. I know how to bleed. I know what it's like to get knocked down hard. And although I never learned how to stay down, when I was facing true sense of hopelessness, it felt like a no-win scenario. If you have lost loved ones to suicide, please believe me when I tell you that when I was suicidal, I truly believed there was no other way. Although today I know that there is another way, a road not taken for far too many. When I decided to end my own life, I felt peace for the first time in years. And I know that might sound crazy, but that's the way it was. Mere minutes after making that decision, I was sitting with my gun on my right leg and my phone on my left, and I got a text from a little girl. It just said, "Hey, Daddy." I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that was the most shocking thing I had ever seen in my life, and I've seen a lot. I was so stunned that I didn't reply to that message for quite some time. The peace I'd felt just a moment before had been shattered. I was again struggling, but I was back in the fight because I understood that I had someone's childhood in my hands. I'm grateful now for that pain. For some of us, maybe even some of us in this room, there may come a time when we feel that all hope is lost and that all is finished. I tell you with certainty and conviction that if you look at that time with a little help in the right way, and you drag those feelings, clawing and grasping for purchase, out into the light, that it can be a beginning, not an end. A moment in time, a text, a phone call, a kind word to a person who believes that kindness has left the world can and does save a life. I see it every day, just blocks away from this beautiful setting at a place called Here Tomorrow. And so I'm here too as a speaker for the living who are struggling but reaching out through fear, shame, and hopelessness in the face of a persistent but waning stigma around suicide. How fully do I believe in what I'm doing? I'll give you this. Very few people at Here Tomorrow even know this. But years after I got the text that saved my life, while I was working with my team at Here Tomorrow, I got a text from a young lady. And it just said, "Hey, Daddy." But that time I answered right away. "Hey, Sugar Bear." She was going through a traumatic breakup, and what she saw as the first major failure of her life. "I'm having some really big feelings," she told me, "and I don't know what to do." Having already faced that loss, believe me when I tell you I was terrified. But I had spent the years preparing myself through education, training, and practice, and on that day, I knew what to do. I knew how to talk to her, how to validate, and how to reassure her. I asked directly, and she trusted me to answer honestly. My daughter felt hopeless, and I knew where that led. I also knew it wasn't all on me to come to the rescue. At my urging, she called here tomorrow. When I tell you that she loves the peers she's working with, it can only be an understatement. Emma tells me that her peer is an angel. Thank you, Christina Fauché. Your recovery in life has become a priceless gift for my daughter. Today, she is happy, healthy, willing, and able to work through it all. I trusted my teammates at Here Tomorrow so fully that I leaned on them when my daughter needed help. Others at Here Tomorrow have sent their loved ones into our program. I don't think one could give a more sincere endorsement than that. Since starting the military and first responder program over 2 years ago, we've helped hundreds of our brothers and sisters continue to live, and in most cases, thrive. I could give you stats and numbers, but is there a greater number than one? And maybe we can't save everybody. But today we can do for one what we wish we could do for all. There are others like me doing the same work, and one conversation at a time, they're making a difference. As for me personally, it's an ongoing trial, but I believe that through my mission, one life at a time, I may find forgiveness. Thank you for taking the time to listen.